Live here. What's your perspective? And also LENSEC Live. I'm Neil Haley of LENSEC, and I'm here with our Chief Product Officer, Jeff Kellick, and marketing mania guy, marketing director, Keith Harris. Guys, again, I'm glad to talk to you today. And we have new news, right, Jeff? You know, we've been going live for how many weeks now?
11 weeks. Yeah, I think so. This is our 11th or 12th week. And as I alluded to on the preview this morning, we're going to start shifting. We started this broadcast on Wednesdays as a way to reach out to people and talk about remote work and how security surveillance operates in a remote environment. We talked a lot about Perspective VMS early on, but we started to bring on some guests, some integrators, some industry experts a little bit to talk about what the impact of the COVID pandemic, what the shutdowns are doing, and how we can work together with our partners, with our consultants, with end users to try and ensure that we have proper security surveillance. And now that we look at things, people talk about that word new normal. I don't like that at all. I think we're going to return to an actual normal here sooner rather than later. It's why I have my Penguins tie on today. The NHL is coming back. We're going to get back to normal, but there's a transition period. And so, what we want to do in our aspect, in our programming, is we want to bring some people on to talk about that transition. And so that really kind of plays into this What's Your Perspective show that we've been building. And in all honesty, we were kind of building it before this happened. Yeah. We were looking to expand out and have these conversations. It's just the remote work environment really took over. And so, that's one of the reasons we've had some different people on. It's one of the reasons why Neil has been hosting. And Neil, you've got a pretty good background in hosting radio shows and broadcasts, right?
No, absolutely. 10 years, it was in December. I've been doing an independent, nationally syndicated radio show / TV for around 10 years and interviewed about 6,000 people. So I have quite experience in interviewing other people. The television end, I'm really now transitioning more to doing video because the pandemic's caused that. And you can't just be on, hide your face with radio and when you do TV / video, it's the best format to get your message out to the most places, because every live streaming platform wants a piece of videos, the percent of video. They want to be able to compete with television, and the way to do it is through live video. So I've had opportunity to interview many, many different people, and I'm just learning the security industry, being in it for over, I guess, a year and 3 months. And I've learned from yourself, and I also learned from Keith and Michael and all the team at LENSEC. And I want to show people that, we're here to help and we're here for you. And that's why I'm excited about What's Your Perspective. It was going to just start out as a podcast. Now we're looking at radio, television, everything to bring information about video surveillance and how it relates to your everyday life in many different vertical markets, Jeff.
Yeah, I would say it's even beyond that, Neil. It's about security as a whole and safety. One of the key driving factors behind LENSEC is that we care about helping keep your assets secure and your people safe. And those are big things for us here at LENSEC. And we don't take it lightly. We take it very seriously. And yes, we are here to sell a product, and that's at the end of the day. It's about making money. But the number one driving factor for everybody at LENSEC when they come into work every day is, what are we going to do to keep our assets secure and keep our people safe? And I think that's why we keep coming back and doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. And Keith, I shouldn't go on without telling a little people, you have a little bit of experience behind the scenes too, and in video production. You've got a background there as well.
I've been around quite a while doing marketing right now. I've been working with LENSEC for the past 6 years doing marketing, but I have a long history in broadcast, going all the way back to my college days, and spent 30 years working in live production and video broadcasting with a background in news journalism. And so I've really been grateful to have the opportunity to bring some of that skill back into the fold and really try to present a great quality product through some of the video series that we've been doing, through some of the radio show stuff that Neil's been doing. But yeah, I have a little bit of a skill there as well. Thanks.
That skill set in video, I want to know more and more, because you do it not just for LENSEC, but you do it for other people as well. So that video expertise is such an important thing when you're talking about marketing, Keith, because everyone really responds more to a video than the traditional forms of marketing before on social media.
I used to, when I was back in my news days, I would get an assignment in the morning and put it on the air in the afternoon, and that was the drill every single day. And so eventually I moved away from that and got into business, and have been enjoying doing different kind of stuff for the last several years, including live video production. And I really do. I enjoy getting in there and editing and making things look good and cleaning it all up. We put a lot of the videos from the past 11 weeks on our YouTube channel. They're posted up at youtube.com/LENSEC. We also have them posted on our website at lensec.com/live. So you can go there. You can look back through our Facebook page where we've been broadcasting for 11 weeks. Pretty excited. Last week, we started our very first LinkedIn Live. And that's a brand new thing for LinkedIn. There's not very many LinkedIn broadcasters, and I'm glad that we have an opportunity to get our message and our security live stream, live broadcast out on LENSEC, on the LENSEC page on LinkedIn. And that's exactly where we like being, in front of our audience, in front of our business partners, in front of the VAR integrators, value-added resellers, folks like that are connected with us already. So we're really excited about the opportunity to bring a security message to the LinkedIn Live channel. And so that's working out really well for us so far. Excited to see how that will grow in the future for us.
I got to make sure I share that, and so I can share to other platforms, because I'm just a huge fan of LinkedIn. I love the connectivity of business people together, working together to help each other with the right solution. And that's such a great thing about how positive LinkedIn is. And it's really grown to, I think, the #4 social media platform now, and continues to grow. And there's so much more space out there, Jeff, for people, especially with LinkedIn. But kind of going back to, what's your perspective? Bringing experts in different vertical markets is very important for us to bring. We want to bring value. We're not here to talk about, we want to bring some sort of value every time we come live.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this isn't, if we wanted to do a commercial, we'd record it once and we just post it on social media every week and we'd be done with it, and we wouldn't take the time to interact. But as you guys can see, and what I'm excited about with this team here is that we can do a lot of production. We can have a lot of conversations, not just internally, but for and with our partners, our value-added resellers. We can bring a lot of experience to the table there, really help them get their message out in their local markets, but also bringing in subject matter experts from other industries, other vertical markets. Over the next couple of months this summer, we, a little bit behind the scenes for everybody out there watching, we had some meetings today. We were talking about all the partners, the end users, the industry advocates that we're lining up to come on this summer. And so it's going to be a big summer. The network broadcasters, they don't have any new shows to put out this summer. So come and watch LENSEC Live. Come and see what we've got on for you. I'm really excited about it. I know next week, Keith, we're going into the healthcare industry, right?
Yes. Next week, we're going to have a healthcare privacy and security expert on to join us. Sheila Stein has a great deal of experience in privacy law, and she's going to come on and talk to us about security and how that's changing in the face of security, physical security in hospitals, doctors' offices, all sorts of things. You can imagine that it's gone through a massive change just in the last 3 months or so since COVID-19 has come on the scene. She's got some great expertise there to be able to show us, and I'm a little bit biased and proud of her since she's my wife. So
You know, what I like that I want to find out more about from next week's show is to really understand the, I guess, law, in understanding specifically enough what's going to happen in these areas based on COVID-19. And you talk about healthcare, but everyone has to take these measures in every industry now, from the grocery stores to the retail stores. There are specific rules and regulations and how the guidelines that they have to have in security. It's opened up a lot of conversations, Jeff, about security in areas that really haven't been discussed before.
Yeah, that's and you know, I think next week is so apropos of where we are right now. A lot of businesses coming back in. I live in the state of Pennsylvania, as does Neil, and we have certain regulations and restrictions that they're putting on businesses about how they can open up and enforcing rules about wearing masks. And we're not going to get into debate about the effectiveness of masks, but from a business standpoint, right. And if you are using technology tools to enforce some certain measure, there's also privacy concerns. There's also HIPAA concerns.
Right.
One of the stipulations in the state of Pennsylvania is you don't have to wear a mask if you have a medical condition. And how, as a business owner, when you're enforcing some policy, do you work with understanding that there are going to be people that, from a privacy standpoint, don't have to share why they're not wearing a mask, and you know, how do you handle that? How do you assess that? I don't know that we're going to have the answers, but certainly worth talking about and certainly worth thinking about, because you don't want to run yourself into a situation where by adhering to one regulation, you're interfering with another regulation. And so again, from our perspective, we're trying to help you with the technology tools that enable you to run your business, your organization, your company. And these are some of the things that, again, as you said, Neil, it doesn't matter what market you're in, right. you have to grapple with. You have to figure out how you're going to be able to come back to work in that environment. And so a lot of the people that we're going to be talking to this summer will have different perspectives on how they're handling security, how they're handling video surveillance, which technologies make the most sense for them. And hopefully then our audience will be able to kind of pick up some tips that will help their individual circumstances. And, you know, maybe even some of those in the audience will say, hey, I want to come on the show. I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing.
Exactly. We have a lot of good experts that we'll be looking at in specific areas. I'd love to hear it. We heard it from a security professional, but what about someone that's running a school district? How do they go through their day-to-day operations, how they've changed? Again, this summer is going to be a very challenging summer for administrators to figure out what will September look like, and even major decision makers in that process in schools. But the same thing when new things open up. If you own a salon, and what are those rules going to be depending on what state you're in? And I honestly believe at one point there's going to be certain guidelines that are going to be everywhere till there's a vaccine, if there's a vaccine that will have to be placed. Let's just say masks weren't involved. Then you look at specifically having to spray down. How many hours a day do you spray down and keep things clean, keep areas clean? Well, through using surveillance, you'll be able to spot those specific situations at times where did we, even as a team, accomplish our goals? Because that is going to have to be part of the life. We're not looking at outside of a business, but how that business is run and how certain rules and regulations have to be. Did we have too many people in that bar or in that restaurant or in some sort of other area? These are things that we'll be discussing on what your perspective, because it's going to be totally different, Keith, right? Do you agree?
Well, that's one of the things that's so fascinating about working in various different vertical markets like we do. We've got experts that we talk to every day in healthcare, in schools, in warehouses, in logistics planning, in retail environments, commercial operations. So these people are all facing their own sort of challenge in kind of reshaping not what the new normal is, Jeff, but what the next normal is. And we've been through this before. I read a great article on this about the fact that when all this started, we were all like, what's going to happen? We have to come up with the next, our new plans, and are we ever going to get back to normal again? Well, we've if you really think about it, we've been going through this our entire lives. There are big things that happen, whether it's Hurricane Katrina or whether it's 9/11 or big events with the wars we've been through recently and all the changes we've gone through in travel. We're always looking for the next normal, and nothing ever stays the same. It's always in a status of change. And now we're just finding out what our next change is. And while it seems big and massive, while it especially did for me, seem really big and massive on the front end, all the changes that we had to make in such a short amount of time, they're really it's just another step in the link of chains. And we're looking at the next normal, but these are things that should take place. Whether it's whether they are only taking place because of COVID-19 or whether they're happening now because COVID-19 did happen. I mean, there's lots of things to look at in terms of standards that we need to put in place, and standards that sometimes now governments are putting into place that may not necessarily be something that needs to continue through the course of time. So we just have to kind of work our way through it slowly and steady, and make sure that we are making wise choices, and that we're taking good care of the people around us. And I think that's what it comes down to, is making sure that we're caring for the people around us the best we can, and coming up with good resources and good tools, good rules to put in place in our life that are helpful for our neighbors and our friends and the people that we love.
Yeah, I think you hit on a very key point there. I know we mentioned a lot about regulation because that's topical. Everybody's talking about the rules and regulations, but operational efficiencies. And I think one of the things that we saw come out of the situation that we've been in is how can we be more operationally efficient? And we look at it in, of how we're talking to partners in different markets. As you mentioned, I was talking to one of our partners yesterday who does a lot of work in the education space. And I asked them, are you seeing this convergence, in professional and secondary, university education, where they've had IP cameras for a long time for security and operational purposes, maintenance purposes, and then they've had classrooms. And the classrooms, we've had some professors that said, hey, I want to use this technology to allow distance learning, to allow remote learning, or even allow analysis for my students. And we talk about famously several years ago in the beginnings of Perspective, we had a customer say, our psychology department wants to use your video management software to review and play back the sessions as a learning tool. And this convergence, this idea, this evolution of leveraging the IP technology, the IP video technology, and managed video to look at how they're operating internally inside, in this example, the classroom. So if you are doing a hybrid of maybe you've taken an English 101 class from 100 students down to 25 inside the auditorium, but you still want to allow the other 75 students to have access to the remote feed, now you can use those IP cameras that maybe traditionally were just there for security. And if you're a security integrator or you're a facilities manager or director of security, and you're trying to say, I also want to leverage those operational cameras for security purposes, that can be done. It's technology that allows flexibility. And so when we look at evolving technologies, it is also about being flexible. And those are some of the things that, maybe they start off as challenges, but then they become opportunities for leveraging those technologies into what makes sense for your organization. And that's just one example. You can talk about manufacturing and automation, all of those types of things that you can leverage a security safety tool for operational efficiency.
Now, thinking about, we've gone into a whole thing about COVID-19. Let's take a step back away from that. In certain aspects, we're going to learn a lot about specifically experts in specific areas in security. They're going to come on the show. We're going to have experts in just video cameras, not surveillance, but video cameras, so that professional development, even on this show, will be involved for people, especially watching live on LinkedIn, and people to say, oh, how do cameras work? Or what's access control? And what about our new technology that's out there? What's the new technology, especially even the cameras, the newer cameras coming out? We'll have those experts come on to discuss those things so that we can understand more security. What does it mean to tag something? All these different types of components and in different vertical markets. So it's very interesting, a lot of the different topics, Keith, we can cover. For sure. So
yeah. One of the great technologies that we've been working with that I think is very valuable is with one of our integration partners who has an artificial intelligence product that leverages the security cameras and uses an algorithm on those images that are captured to help evaluate what's going on. For example, you talk about operational efficiencies, Jeff. How about an algorithm that will count the number of people that are at a table, or how many tables in a restaurant are occupied, or whether the trash on the street has been removed and is the street sanitized or not. There's a lot of things like that. Our partner Zensors does a great job with stuff like that, taking the security information that is already there and available via the CCTV cameras, and then using that information to capture usable data that an operational manager can act on. Really great stuff, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so I think there's a tremendous breadth of knowledge that we'll be able to share and we'll all be able to learn from. I'm really excited about it. I think our audience are in great hands. Again, we talk about the expertise that we have here that's producing this show over the course of the summer, and I couldn't be happier to have you guys doing it, and really look forward to the rest of the summer and all of these broadcasts that we'll be doing.
Well, we hope to be bringing good information forward that's shareable to everybody on these channels.
Awesome. And we can connect, Keith, a bunch of different places people can connect with us, right?
Yes. If you just go to lensec.com/contact, then you'll find a great way to reach out to us right there. Of course, you can find us at our headquarters in Houston, Texas. And many of our team is already remotely working. And we have folks all over the world that are looking for you to get in touch with, and working to contact folks and not only build our business, but to help make people and assets more secure. So if you go to lensec.com/contact, you'll find our contact information there. If you're interested in a demonstration of our software and some of the capabilities, our sales team is ready to go. You can find them at lensec.com/sales.
And you can even chat directly on the website now, Keith, right? You can, if you just go to lensec.com, you can strike up a conversation right there with our team.
Yep, right down there, somewhere down there.
Very good. Well, Neil, do you want to take us out for the day?
Yeah, I'll take us out. Again, this was LENSEC Live. I appreciate our guests, Jeff and Keith, stopping by, and look forward to our guests next week. And everyone needs to check out lensec.com/live, where all the broadcasts are available, so that if you missed one, especially Guy Grace or any of the other great broadcasts, you can check out that, go there and follow us on social media and tell your friends. So I appreciate you guys stopping by.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. That was LENSEC Live.